Hey guys, my name is Oksana and I'm an English teacher. Today I will tell you about the structure of English sentence. The structure of English sentence consists of the subject, verb, and object. I'm going to tell you in more details what those are. So, the subject, verb, and object cannot be used interchangeably. They cannot be replaced. That is why this structure is called direct. If we put verb before subject, we actually get a question sentence or interrogative sentence. Or if we put an object before subject, it will make no sense in English language. I will tell you about this later in some more details. So far, let's look here. So what is the subject in English language? The subject is actually who or what is in the sentence. So we have to put a question, who or what in the sentence is doing something. The subject is actually a performer of the action. It can be expressed by the noun, pronoun, or noun phrase. Noun phrase is the set of words. Also, let me change the color here and put it here, that the subject is the performer of the action in the sentence. Okay, so now let's look at verb. Verb is the action of the sentence. In other words, we call it action word of the sentence. Verb is generally a verb. Sometimes we can use do, simple verbs in different tenses, or it can be a state of being. So here, if we put this here, it can be an action word, or state of being expressed by the linking verb be or other linking verbs. Here, let's talk about object. The object of the sentence, interestingly, is also who or what. If you put a question to the object, it will be who or what. But I will talk about this a bit later in some more details. Now let's look at what grammar parts can express object. Also the same, noun, pronoun, or noun phrase. Now, let me add the information that the subject can be different from object by the use of cases. Those people who learn cases in their first language, such as Russian, Italian, German, French, they might understand this topic more if we explain the subject by means of the case. So when we talk about the subject, it is usually the nominative case. When we talk about object, it is already not nominative case, okay? So nominative case can be only the subject of the sentence. It can be only performer of the action, who or what. And the object is expressed by different cases, such as accusative case, such as dative case, such as prepositional case. So for those people who learn cases in the first language, it might be much more easier to understand the whole idea of this topic of English grammar. So let's look at some examples. For example, let me put here the example. And the subject will be my mom. My mom. And the verb would be cleans. And the object would be the house. The house. Full stop. Here. If we talk about the subject, it is the noun phrase, my mom. Mom is the noun here, and the main noun, which contains the meaning, and mom is the performer of the action. What she does, she cleans, she's doing some action, right? So she's doing something, she's performing something, right? So this is the action. She cleans what? And again, we ask the question what, right? We ask the question what or who, and we say the house. So she cleans the house, right? And this would be your structure of English sentence in a very simple words. Let's look at different examples. Now, actually, let's look at the same example, but in different. If you ask still, if you still don't understand why we can't replace these words and these parts of grammar, let's look at what happens if we actually take and replace the object with subject, etc. So let's replace it with the subject, with, yes. So we start the sentence with the object, and you can understand that it doesn't make any sense. So the house cleans my mom. It doesn't have any sense in English language because the meaning of the nouns tells us a different story. So actually the house cannot clean or cannot do anything. This is the thing. And my mom is the performer of the action. So my mom actually is the main subject. And if we put it in different situation, like cleans the house, my mom, this is incorrect word order for English language. This set of words doesn't make any sense for the native speaker of English language. That is why we cannot replace subject with verb and with object, and cannot use these words interchangeably, these grammar parts. So we need to be pretty much very, very precise. The way the subject agrees with the verb in number and gender, we call this subject and verb agreement. So for example, if you can see here that S agrees with the noun mom, which is third person singular. And we know that in present simple, the verb, simple verb, adds suffix s or es. It means that the subject agrees with the verb. Subject, and verb agreement. This is called subject and verb agreement in number. I'll put it with letter and tense. Tense as grammar tense. Number, plural singular, and tense. What tense this is? So if this is a present tense or past tense, or any perfect aspect or continuous. So let's put this into the past tense, and we will get here the suffix cleaned, right? Oh, sorry, what that? Cleaned. the suffix ed would be added instead of s, right? So we just, and also this verb would agree with the subject, not the object. So it's only subject and verb agreement, not the object. Object has nothing to do with this, all right? Hope this makes things clear. And adding to this, if we talk about the subject as a performer of the action, so let's talk about the object as the receiver of the action. Receiver of the action. So the subject mom, is the performer of the action. It does something here, and the object receives this action. So she cleans what? She cleans the house. So this is the receiver of the action. All right, let me just show you another example. Just bear with me for a moment. Also, yes, I want to replace the nouns by the pronouns. So let me show you an example with the pronouns, all right? And I will use different color again, maybe just a bit. Okay, so if we talk about my mom, whenever we talk about, let's talk about, for example, he. He will be the subject of the sentence, right? So he works. He works is a verb. He works at the factory. Oh, he works from home is another example. Same with prepositional phrase. Starting with preposition or prepositional cases here. All right. So he is the subject, which is here a pronoun, okay? Pronoun. So he is a pronoun, but again, it is same meaning, same grammar meaning. It is a performer of the action, it does something, and the object is the receiver of the action. Okay, so another example would be here. For example, we, pronoun, we, the verb love, them, someone, we don't know, just replacing subject and object with the pronoun, and pronouns usually change the whole form, and it makes more sense for you that why we cannot replace them. So if you put them in front and we after the verb, them, love, we, it will definitely make no sense. So this is a clear example of the subject and object and why we cannot replace them, why we use the direct word order in this English grammar. Okay, so bear with me for a moment. I'm going to open another example for you. All right, guys, so let's look at these examples. The lady walks along the street. So the lady is the subject here. How to find? Easy to find because you can put a question, who or what is the performer of the action in the sentence, and that's how you can find the subject. Where the subject starts, here or here? Yes, it starts here with there because this is a noun phrase. We call it noun phrase. And noun phrase. There is the article and lady is a noun. Well, of course, the main noun is here, the lady, because it contains the meaning. the main performer is here. Altogether, just grammatically, we call it noun phrase, and we started from that. Then let's look at the verb. Simple verb here, walks, with S as the agreement with the lady in present simple, third person singular. Verb agrees with the number and tense of the subject. Remember about the verb agreement all the time in English language. Now let's find the object. So what do you think? Where the object starts? Let me change the color here. So yes, that's right. The object starts with alone and ends after the street. So along the street is the whole object. It starts with the preposition along the street, and we have the article and we have the noun. Street is the main noun of the object. This is a noun phrase as well, a prepositional phrase, and with the main noun as the street, because street receives the action of the verb. The action or process of doing something. So basically, when you learn this grammar, all teachers want from you is to understand how we use English grammar correctly. The teachers usually look at this agreement between the subject and the verb. The rest is just the main, more information about the situation. The object usually gives more information about the situation, but at the very beginner level, intermediate level, your teacher will look at this agreement if you use it correctly. For example, let's take past tense. For example, let's say the lady would be she, and in past tense walked along the street. Same sentence, but just different tense. We use here past tense, past simple tense, past simple. Yes, so we look at the agreement between the verb and the subject. We know that the subject here is third person singular, third person singular. Let me put the better S, singular. And this is the verb. In past tense, we just add ed independently of this, of the noun or pronoun, sorry. I mean of the pronoun she, independently of the pronoun or of the subject, we just add ed in past tense. But this also would be called agreement because it agrees with the subject, the performer of the action, not with the street. Okay, hope everything makes some sense. I will give you some more examples just in a second. So bear with me for a moment. All right, so let's look here. Let's look here at this couple of sentences. Let's look at the sentence number 1. What can you say about the sentence number 1? We can say that the jet engine passed inspection. Where do you think is the subject of the sentence? As most of you will find the verb at once. And I'm pretty much sure you already did it. And you're very good because yes, past is the verb of the sentence. That's right, that's correct. Brilliant. So now let's find the subject. Is it jet Is it engine or is it the? And where the subject starts and where it ends. I want to listen. So hope, yes, some of you already answered this correctly. Starts with the and ends after engine. The jet engine is the subject of the sentence. It is a noun phrase. And where is the main noun, jet or engine? Some of you are right. It is engine. Engine is the main noun because it answers the question what. Remember that subject. To find the subject, we need to ask who or what is the performer of the action. So here, what is not the jet, it is the engine. And jet is just an adjective here which describes the word engine. And the rest is the object of the sentence. So this is all of it is the subject, noun phrase. And all done. This is correct. Okay, let's look at number 2, sentence number 2. Who can find the subject here? She was late. Yes, right. She is the subject. Okay, some of you say definitely that was is the verb. Okay, so let me tell you that. What about late then? What is late in this sentence? Because was is to be in past tense, but was late. I'm gonna tell you that this will be your verb phrase. Late is actually an adverb in this particular meaning. However, this adverb is the complement of the verb, and altogether will be called verb phrase. Oh, my writing is not good or good, but it's very inconvenient to write with this pen. Okay, she was late. So she, the subject, was late. There is no object in this sentence. Sometimes there are many sentences without object. So just agreement is very important. Again, here she was. Your teacher will look at this agreement that you put it correctly. That's why it is very important to know where is the verb of the sentence and where the subject of the sentence and what is actually an object of the sentence. All right, so you can pause this video and finish this exercise on your own, or you can just think and challenge yourself. Thank you very much for watching me.